Hey, welcome back everybody. We have another TTM video today, and as we well know, TTM just stands for through the mail. TTM, through the mail. And it's a way to get autographs from your favorite athletes or celebrities through the mail without having to go to an autograph show or a baseball card show and pay hefty prices. You know, a lot of these celebrities and athletes sign for free through the mail. Now, you know, several of them do charge, and I like to point that out and notify you guys whenever that happens. But many times you'll get these same guys that you'll pay $40 or $50 for at a card show or at a national convention or so forth, you can get for free through the mail. So that's what we like to do. It's a lot of fun, and we send out requests each week, and when we get them back, we head here to YouTube and make videos, so that way everybody gets to share the information and maybe get your favorite athlete or celebrity that you haven't thought about for years. But without further ado, let's get right into it. We have 4 today. The first one comes from Indianapolis. This guy was born and raised in Indianapolis, actually played in the NFL for the Indianapolis Colts, and his name is Jeff George. And it looks like Mr. George sent this on his own. Be confident, always give 110%. Best wishes, Jeff George, number 11. That's pretty cool. I did not send that. He sent that himself, so I appreciate that very much. I did send 2 cards of my own, and it looks like he signed 1 and 2. To Michael, no, it doesn't say 2. Michael, God bless, Jeff George, number 11. He wrote that on both of those cards. Pretty cool, man. Pretty cool. Jeff George, 52 years old. Former NFL quarterback, as you can see from the cards. From 1990 to like 2004. Obviously for the Colts, as you see here in those 3 cards. Also played for the Falcons and for the Raiders and maybe a couple other teams along the way. He was the first overall draft pick in the 1990 NFL draft. And as I said, he went to high school in Indianapolis. Ended up playing for the Colts, which is kind of neat. He threw for over 27,000 yards in his career, 154 touchdowns. He was seen as a pure passer, you know, strictly drop back, and I'm going to throw it as hard as I possibly can. He had a great arm. Used to throw very high velocity in a tight spiral. But I got that back from Jeff George in 8 days. There was no fee on that. So that's pretty cool. I'll count that as a 3 of 2, I guess, since this one is autographed on the back. I sent 2, he sent 3. Pretty cool. Thank you, Mr. George. Next one is from Louisiana, and it's 66-year-old former center in the NBA, Robert Parish. He played for 21 years in the NBA, almost unheard of. Participated in NBA record 1,611 games in his career. He was named one of the 50th greatest players while he was still playing late in his career in 96 when they named that team. He played until 97, I think. You know, he was known as mostly for the Boston Celtics, but he was actually drafted and played his first 5 years in the NBA with the Golden State Warriors. And nobody really knew who he was back then until he came to the Celtics in 1980. And then he won the first of his 4 NBA championships the following year in 81. He won 3 of those rings with the Celtics, 81, 85, and 86, I think. And then he won his 4th ring with the Michael Jordan Bulls in 1997. 9-time All-Star. As I said, he was one of the top 50 players of all time when they named that team in 1996. Went to the Hall of Fame professional basketball in 2003. I got that back in 56 days from one of the greatest players of all time. No fee. Next one is also from Louisiana, but while we're staying on the theme of all-time great NBA centers, let's move to return number 3 today, and that is also from one of the great centers of all time, Mr. Bob Pettit. Of course, he went to LSU as pictured here and played for the St. Louis Hawks. That card is not signed, so maybe he has a one-item limit. That doesn't surprise me. He's one of the greatest players of all time. And he's also getting up there in age. He's 86 years old. Also played center, like I said, for the St. Louis Hawks. 11 seasons in all. He was a great player. 26.4 points a game and 16 rebounds a game for his career. He retired as the leading scorer in NBA history when he retired from the league. 20,000. He's the first to eclipse 20,000 points in a career. He had 12,800 rebounds, which was second in history at the time of his retirement. Two-time MVP. He was an all-star in every one of his 11 seasons in the NBA. He was also named in 1996 to the top 50 players of all time. He was named to the Hall of Fame in 1970. I got that back in 10 days, no fee, for one of the greatest basketball players of all time. Moving right along, this is a full-size envelope here. Get the easel. This is coming from Prospect, Ohio. All right. Clasped that and sealed it. Appreciate that. And this is 74-year-old former Major League Baseball umpire, Larry Barnett. I recently received a signed photo from NFL referee Ed Hockley. Made a video on that. That was my first NFL referee, and Larry Barnett is the first umpire I've received. So I sent him 3 photos altogether. Oh, four photos. He signed all of them. Awesome. All right. One of the main reasons I wanted Mr. Barnett's autograph, not only because he was such a great umpire, but he grew up in Nitro, West Virginia, which is just about 15 minutes away from where I'm currently sitting in Charleston, West Virginia. And as you folks know from watching my videos, I'm a native of West Virginia myself, and really enjoy collecting sports figures who were born and raised in West Virginia, like I was. And if you didn't know, some of the all-time greats in all sports were West Virginia natives. Randy Moss in football grew up just 10 minutes from where I'm sitting right now. Jerry West, the logo in basketball, grew up another 10 or 15 minutes from here. Hal Greer, all-time great basketball player, one of the top 50 of all time, grew up in Huntington, West Virginia. Hot Rod Hundley grew up. I could throw a rock and hit where Hot Rod Hundley grew up. Anyway, I've featured other TTM guys that I've received. Steve Swisher from Parkersburg. Bobby Bowden, of course, got his coaching start at WVU, West Virginia University. Joe Patini, I've featured him in a Through the Mail. Donnie Robinson, we got 8x10s from him. Anyway, I digress. Back to Larry Barnett. He was an umpire from 1969 to 1999, one of the top 5 all-time in longevity and years of service to the major leagues. He did 4 World Series, including a controversial call that you see in this picture right here in the 1975 World Series. And he says, Larry Barnett, 75 World Series umpire. He's there arguing with the Red Sox manager. And what happened was in Game 3 of the 1975 World Series, Cincinnati Reds Ed Armbrister laid down a sacrifice bunt and was right out in front of home plate, and he didn't really run to first as quickly as he could have, I guess. And he kind of got in the way of Carlton Fisk here, number 27, who was trying to field the bunt. They collided, and Fisk fielded at the same time that he collided and he threw the ball away. and that really cost the Red Sox, an extra base and ended up really costing them the game. But it was very controversial. There was a long argument between the Red Sox players, and it was ruled that Larry Barnett ruled the play correctly. He ruled no interference and that the runners were safe. And the announcer of that game was Curt Gowdy. Well, Curt Gowdy worked a long time. He was the Red Sox announcer and also did games for NBC. So he was an admitted Red Sox fan and very biased, and he just reamed Larry Barnett during the broadcast. And in fact, he got on him so badly that Larry Barnett received death threats after that game because of the treatment he received verbally by Curt Gowdy on the air. And it turns out that we now know that Curt Gowdy had the correct information, that Larry Barnett made the correct call, but Curt Gowdy refused to convey that to his audience because he was so upset because he was a Red Sox fan. But anyway, it's a subjective call, it is, and the umpire is supposed to rule on the intent of the batter and whether he intended to interfere or not. And, as I said, it was ruled that Armbrister probably did not have the intent, although he did not get out of the batter's box as quickly as he could have. Everybody now knows that was ruled correctly by Mr. Barnett. I met him. There he is throwing Davey Johnson out, Orioles manager. And I met him in Nitro, West Virginia, which again is just 10, 15 minutes from here. Nitro, the town of Nitro is a very small town. It was named because World War II, they manufactured nitroglycerin at the plant there. And they have a wall of fame, and Larry Barnett was placed upon that wall. And I met him there. Very nice gentleman. Very nice. Also on that wall is Kathy Mattea. You may have heard of her. She's a country music singer with some #1 hits over her career. And also Atlanta Braves pitcher Lou Burdett, who won over 200 victories in the major leagues and was 1957 World Series MVP for the Milwaukee Braves. He died in 2017. But those three are the members of the Wall of Fame there. Larry Barnett, of course, is retired, and right now what he does is spends a lot of his time visiting veterans' homes and VA hospitals, and does a lot of fundraising for disabled American veterans. But very nice gentleman. I'm glad he signed these. There's an incorrect address, I think, on sportscollectors.net on that forum. I got the correct address from Star Tiger. So make sure if you want to write to Mr. Barnett that you email me so you have the correct address, because when I sent it to the incorrect address, it didn't get forwarded to him and it did not get sent back to me. So evidently his neighbor, because it's on the same road, evidently his neighbor has kept the photographs, and maybe they get all sorts of stuff because of that incorrect address online. Maybe they just get fed up with it. But anyway, I got that back. The second time I mailed it to him, I think it was just an 8-day turnaround for Mr. Barnett. I don't have it written down here, but I know it was very quick. So those are the 4 returns. I've gone on too long already. Jeff George, NFL quarterback. NBA Hall of Famer Robert Parish. NBA Hall of Famer Bob Pettit. And longtime Major League umpire Larry Barnett. Guys, I appreciate you watching and sticking with me here now almost 14 minutes. Click that thumbs up button if you like what you see. Hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit the notification bell. That way you'll be notified of all my future videos. Comment down below. I enjoy reading it. It keeps me motivated, guys. I really appreciate that. But we'll be going for now, but we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.